Yep.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to our fourth week review of the G1 Climax. We are getting closer to the end. We've seen some great matches this week. We've seen a few people get eliminated this week, which we will talk about at the end of the show. But before we get into the show, just want to remind everyone one more time that I do have a Discord server now. Whenever I post new wrestling content, go to that Discord server. You will see it right there. Any new content that I post will be in that Discord server. Follow that Discord server because I will be in New York next month at the live show of AEW Grand Slam. And if you like what you see, please do me a favor, ring that bell for notifications and click that subscribe button. So with that out of the way, we bring back Campo, our resident
Hey, I'm here.
only New Japan guy that follows the product like I do. So I got to thank you, Campo, for one. You got me back into New Japan. So
I mean, if it wasn't for you, I would have literally no one to talk about New Japan to, because even the people I know who watch wrestling don't watch New Japan.
Right? It's a very niche product, but it's a fantastic product.
It's something I really highly recommend. If you just like wrestling and all you want to see is wrestling, then New Japan is the place to go.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But with that out of the way, let's get into our first night. He's got the New Japan. He's got the Kenny Omega.
Oh, I forgot I was wearing that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm wearing Decepticons.
Hey, it's close enough.
It's Japanese. Hey. Takara toys, right?
Let's go.
Right. But so with that out of the way, night 12, we'll start with night 12. A match between Yoshihashi and ELP. Oh my God. Go ahead, Campo.
Okay, so before we even get into this, I want to clear some things up for people. So this way you won't yell at us. I did fact checking here. So the announcer that we complained about in the last video was
Chris Carlton.
No, it was actually El Fantasmo. It was not Tom Lawler.
Okay,
I remember because we were complaining about a wrestler that was really annoying. I realized it was Fantasmo. Okay. And then also Sonata is from All Japan.
Not Noah.
Okay. What's the other? Kenta is started in All Japan. That's why they always talk about them together. And then he went to Noah, and he won like every single title they had in Noah, and then he defected to New Japan.
And then before he went to WWE.
Yeah, well, he went to WWE and then came to New Japan. But anyways.
But we were right about Sonata though joining Impact Wrestling.
Yes, that was correct. Yeah. I wanted to clear it up before anyone got the tomato, Puerto Rico,
Costa Rica. Go watch my first video if you want to know what that's all about. Yeah. So we're going there. Yoshihashi, ELP, good match. ELP is really impressing me.
Yoshihashi wants to be a real wrestler.
Yeah.
He's tired of being known as the jobber. Yeah. And ELP is way more talented than his character makes him come off.
Yeah. Like there was a sign. Did you see the sign at the beginning of the match? ELP stands for extremely lame pooper.
Yes, that was my favorite part. They talked about it for a while.
And ELP even yells at Kevin Kelly. He goes, "What does that even mean?"
He's like, "Well, I guess it means you poop really well, or you poop really poorly." But I really, the way that Kevin Kelly just interacts with people is something that I find very amusing.
Especially if he's doing commentary by himself, he has to find a way to entertain the viewers. And that's how he's doing it.
Even with people, he does that, but he does it in a way that also now includes the new person that's with him. And I find it very entertaining for me.
Because wasn't Archer on this commentary again?
In this specific episode, I don't remember, but I know he's on one in these episodes. ELP's on one, and Tom Lawler's on one.
Is on one as well.
And on today's episode, which we won't spoil it for you yet, but David Finley's on it, and he does not talk for the entire episode.
We're talking the night of this recording, which is Saturday night.
Yeah, sorry.
But that's okay. I mean, he's done it now. This week, there's been a couple ELP matches this week. He has a beautiful lion salt from that second rope.
Yeah. He has a lot of the Chris Jericho aerial abilities.
Yeah.
And I don't know, he's a really good wrestler, and he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Yeah, it was that, and at the end though, we had that no sell by Yoshi. Like he was no selling all of ELP's moves, and then he was setting up for the destroyer, and he like completely Yoshihashi goes over, and ELP was setting up for the destroyer, and he completely transitions it into karma and gets the win for that.
It was a surprisingly good match. I mean, I don't think surprisingly, because we've said that those are two of the people that have really stood out in this tournament.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't call it surprising, but on a regular day, you wouldn't look at this match and be excited to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, oh, here's a filler match, but it wasn't a filler match.
The cards are getting a lot more balanced.
Yeah.
Where even the bad matches are entertaining enough that you're not upset about it anymore.
Yeah.
Where early on there were some stinkers thrown in.
But yeah, and Yoshihashi goes over. That block right now, the D block, is absolutely insane. Like, there's been like they're all like everybody's tied.
So they're setting up for something.
Yeah, I think the night of the semifinals, there's going to be something with that block.
Yeah,
I think they're all going to end up tied.
I think they're trying to do some kind of tie in C and some kind of tie in D. To make that second last night super interesting, where there's going to be like a three-way match and a four-way match.
Especially with the surprise victory at the end of night 15, which we'll get into later, makes a big difference, and it's going to be a four-way tie at the top of there.
Yep.
Next match, like you were saying, even on paper, a match that could look bad is entertaining, which was Lance Archer versus Toru Yano.
Yeah, this should not have been good. But when he taped him to the friggin' thing, that was so funny.
When he put a taste of his, even at the beginning of the match, he's like, "Show me the DVD. Come on, show me the DVD." And he's like, "No."
And he's like, I mean, there's Yano is really funny.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be funny, but it is. When he comes in and he's just chirping it up, spraying his stupid sanitizer all over the place, and it's like the ref checks him. There's like 5 rolls of tapes in his pocket, but he lets him get away with it anyways.
Yeah. 3 pairs of trunks.
Yeah, I mean, it actually was a decent match.
Yeah, I love the fact too that like as he's hitting Archer from behind, he's like yelling out "Gomen nasai," which is sorry in Japanese. Like he's hitting him, he's like "Gomen nasai, gomen nasai,"
because he doesn't want to get beat up.
No,
it's funny too because I have this really weird thing. Like, okay, first of all, Lance Archer has one of the nastiest choke slams that exists.
Yeah,
it's so perfect. His finishing move is awesome.
Yeah, it's like a razor's edge, but he flips
you over.
Was it the blackout or whatever it's called?
Yeah, I think so. He has a really good move set, and for a big man, he's quite agile. Especially
he's quick.
I didn't know he was that as old as he is. I believe he's like 46 or 47.
He's in his 40s, yeah, for sure.
I know he's into
because he's been around a while.
Yeah, but when you say all of that and how surprising that is, then it really catches me off guard when he does these really awkward moves where he doesn't connect. Or
he's literally 4 months older than me, 45.
Or he does these things where he hits people really softly and it looks phony. And I don't get it, because when you look at the other stuff, you're like, how is this the same wrestler?
Yeah.
Like, did you ever notice that he does kicks sometimes and he doesn't even make contact with them when he's doing it?
He kind of makes a thrust kick, but he stops right before he
and it's like you can see that he's not doing it, and it's kind of like takes you out of it.
Yeah.
For a guy as pro as he is,
it was a really, really, really fun match. I like the part where he kind of taped Archer to Nakashima there, and he's trying to pull Nakashima through the guardrail.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny when he was and he also
the double clothesline with them.
The amount of like young lions that he knocked out in his entrance to the ring. They're like, oh, there's one, there's another one.
But
it's
fun match.
And the whole thing with the scissors.
Yeah, Yanu's cutting with the.
You know what's funny? Because he kayfabe planned the scissors, obviously.
Yeah.
And he didn't realize that the scissors couldn't cut because they were shitty scissors. And even Kevin Kelly's like, that's why you don't get children's scissors.
But it was like I said,
he almost didn't make it.
Yeah. he came in. You could tell Marty Asami like
was really
slowed
solid.
that. Yeah, he
16,
slowed that
17, 18, 19, 20 was really slow.
slow. Yeah. But like this is how fun this match was. That the fact that we're talking so much about it and laughing about it, like it didn't take away from the tournament. It added like it made Archer still seem like a monster, but still had that comedy element to it.
Which is a complaint I do have in some matches coming up. Maybe
yeah,
it might have been in today's. They do this weird thing with guys like Archer, where in this they still made Archer look tough.
yeah.
But they do a weird thing now where they put a tough guy in the ring with they put like Stone Cold in the ring with Toriano, and
Toriano gets all the offense.
He gets all the offense, but also they make Stone Cold like play into the goofiness, and we know that character wouldn't do that. And
he did with Kurt Angle a little bit when he was
know,
heel.
but you know what I mean. Like it's like full goofball mode in New Japan with some of these characters that wouldn't be that. They wouldn't do that.
But and Lance Archer goes over. Lance Archer surprisingly is making a comeback in this tournament.
Yeah.
And with that win, Toriano, the first guy eliminated from the G1 tournament.
Well, he got a couple more coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In this night alone.
Especially in that category in A block.
Yeah. Which A block is a lot tighter than expected. Next match we move on to good strong match, which was Zack Saber Jr. versus Hiroki Goto.
Yeah.
You had the strength versus technical ability. Basically, Goto powering out of every submission attempt that Zack Saber Jr. had, which I really enjoyed. They're really making Goto look strong. They're playing the fact about his son making the wish that
his dad talking about the AEW
champion, which that'll never happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that will never happen.
But it's a great story. It's telling a great story.
I think so, and I think he's a great wrestler, and he has the best theme music.
Yes, he does.
I don't know. I'm never gonna stop talking about it. I crank that shit to 11 every time it comes on.
Naito has a pretty good song too.
A lot of them do actually.
Yeah, Tanahashi. But it started off slow, but it wasn't boring.
No, this was a good match.
Yeah. But I mean, it was very technical, but very, you could see Saber working on Goto's arm early on, like wearing that arm down because Zack Saber Jr. goes over by submission. I think this is our first submission of the tournament, isn't it?
No, I think there was one other one. Didn't Okada
won by submission? Yes.
Yeah, but I don't know. To me, this is when we were making our discussion, looking at the leaderboards and like trying to figure out how can we weasel this out of this to make these things happen.
They're doing it.
This was the match that I feel that Goto was supposed to win this to make it be the potential four-way thing. But now that Zack Saber won, he still only has one loss. And like, how do you coordinate this now?
Who's his last match? Is it Naito? Naito's his last match, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because the one loss was to Tanahashi. And same thing with Naito. Naito's loss was to Tanahashi.
Which, see, now it gets weird, but Goto has to face Tanahashi still. Do they make Goto beat Tanahashi?
And Tanahashi go 3-3?
Didn't Naito beat Zack Saber Jr. already?
No.
Doesn't Zack Saber have to face Evil?
Is it? No, he faced Evil later in this. We'll talk about that. Yeah.
Which that was another one where I was okay, but we'll get
we'll get into that. And it was a decent match. Zack Saber Jr. goes over by submission on Hiroki Goto. Next, we get into our fourth match of the night, which was Jay White versus the Great O-Khan.
This should not have been as good as it was.
Mm-hmm. Still not a fan of Great O-Khan.
Great O-Khan, no. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to be in agreement with you there, but Jay White is very impressive.
Yeah, he is. Absolutely. Jay White is the best thing going right now. I like at the beginning, like, he's just yelling, chicken, I'm a chicken.
Yeah, he really knows how to get the fans going. And
they keep telling about that story about how he saved that girl.
No, every time Great Khan comes out, they have a new story about someone that he saved. Did you notice
Yes,
that?
It's always a different story. Yes.
And I don't know. I really freaking like his stupid entrance. I hate that I like it, but I really freaking like it.
It's
is like
very
hypnotizing.
Cool. Yeah. He comes out with the question mark on his
and
mask.
He's like doing all those moves. And the song is pretty decent too.
Yeah. He's definitely an entertainer. As far as wrestling goes, I don't know yet. I mean,
I think he really relies on Jeff Cobb to make it work for him. Because on his own, he's not very interesting in the ring.
Yeah, I agree with that. You had great selling by Jay White. When Jay White deadlifted Khan for that suplex, that was spectacular.
He's a great wrestler, man.
Yeah,
Jay White might be one of the most underrated actual ring workers that exists ever.
And he's more powerful than I expected too.
Like, he's really ripped.
Yeah. You hear Gato yelling from the background, break his leg. Like,
Gato makes me laugh every time he says something because his accent is so weird. It's not like a typical Japanese accent. It has like this twang on it.
Yeah, it's almost like
hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, it was like, he had, and towards the end of the match too, you had Khan gripping him in the claw, and Jay just transitions that into the Blade Runner, and that's it. Match is over. Like, it was, and with that win, they eliminated 3 people in that group. Khan gets eliminated, Ishii and Chase Owens all eliminated from competition. Just with Jay White winning, because Jay White is, at this point, still the only undefeated.
So all 3 of the guys that we promised wouldn't make it, didn't make it in that group.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations to us.
Yes, exactly. So we got something right. And the only thing we got wrong was we said Grado was going to go winless. He got a win.
Yeah, well, it was going to happen.
Then we have our final match of the night, which was Shingo Takagi versus Will Ospreay. Like, this was a solid night.
This match was fucking amazing.
Yeah, absolutely it was. Takagi is really like showing him like he shows that he's really fighting for something, right? Like, it shows that he has that, like they say it, the fighting spirit, right? Like,
Shingo is a special wrestler.
Yeah.
And he's such a cool character. Like, he's such a badass, and his in-ring work, he can basically go toe-to-toe with any guy because he's so adaptive in the ring.
It showed for every move that Ospreay tried to do, Shingo seemed like he had a reversal for it.
Yeah, it was like watching a sport where they like plan ahead, they watch video, like he knew the things that he was gonna do. Really, really.
Yeah. Like, you think he watched like tape on him or something.
Yeah,
like,
it worked out. Yeah.
And it was like, it was a good selling by like the arm, like Ospreay selling the arm that Shingo was working on. And Shingo actually goes over Will Ospreay, which was a little bit surprising.
This is now where this block's standings got really weird for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was not what we expected. But it's now in a position where none of the people we thought would be winning this block are winning the block.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Anybody in this block could still win it. They could all end up in a 3-3 tie in this block.
Yeah.
Like, this is absolutely, well, somebody has to go. Yeah, no, 3-3. They can actually all go 3-3 in this block. That'll make an interesting tournament. But yeah, that's the end of night 12. This was so far one of the best tournament nights they've had so far. After that, we're moving on to night 13, which was on August the 7th. Our opening block match was Evil versus Aaron Harane.
It could have been good. It wasn't really.
No. It was, there was that little lull. Like, it was.
I think the Evil matches are fun. One show shows up.
Yeah.
Or when Dick to go is doing some funny things. But until this point, I would say I enjoyed watching Evil wrestle.
Yeah.
From this match and the next match that he has coming up, I was very surprised how poor he looked in the ring.
It's also with this match too, Hirane is still very, very green. He's still trying to develop his character. I don't think he has his character there yet. He looks like, ever play that Yakuza game? I think it was Yakuza 2 where you had to fight the guy with the sunglasses on the rooftop. That's what Aaron Hirane reminds me of.
Wow, yeah, no, you're right. that's pretty good.
That's what he reminds me of. Like,
Google it, everyone. But yeah, it's I really like him.
Yeah, I mean, for an opening match, it was not bad.
Evil is a really good wrestler, but I think he requires another very high class person to make him look like he's really good.
Because he's a solid mid carder. He's not a low card guy, but he's a really good mid card guy. He's never going to be held. Yeah, he's not going to be held in the same regards as a Tanahashi or a Goto or a Naito or anybody of those guys. But
he would be the next tier underneath that.
Yeah,
because he has the legendary kind of status, but he doesn't have. So there's the legendary guys you just named, the Naitos and the Tanahashis and the Okadas, you know.
Yeah.
Then you have the wrestlers that just can go. The Jay Whites, the Ospreys, the Zack Saber Juniors,
Hiroki
David
Goto, Shingo Takagi.
Where these are the talented, the super talented guys. But Shingo is also like in the legendary category for me. Evil is just under the legendary category for me because he has that status, but he doesn't have the ring work to be like a number one guy.
Almost like an Ishii type of character.
Yeah, well, he's better than Ishii. He's a lot better than Ishii, I think. He's more like trying to think of he's kind of like a British bulldog. Where it's like he has the ability and
he's good.
He's a legendary figure. But he's never going to be one of the greatest to ever be in New Japan.
He's not in like like Bulldog. Everybody knows Bulldog. Everybody remembers how great Bulldog was, but he's never going to be at the level as Brett or Austin or Warrior.
He could go, but he only had a certain amount of go. Once he did all his moves, he's just going to, it's like Kevin Nash. I'm just going to redo all my moves again now because I only have those moves. Chin lock.
And then jackknife, and that's it.
Oh
but Evil goes over, and with that win, Hanare is the first guy in Group C to be eliminated. Next, moving on, we have the second match of the night, which was Tom Lawler versus Foley. I just put it was a match.
Yeah, this was a match.
I don't much to say about the
I don't really have anything.
They made the right decision. Lawler goes over. That's all you need to know.
It should be because he's actually decent in the ring. Foley is so out of shape at this point. When you go back, I like just was doing some online. On the interwebs. And like Foley, when Bullet Club first started, he was really in shape. In comparison to how he looks now.
He looks like Andre towards the end of Andre's career where he couldn't go anymore.
Like he really struggles.
Like he doesn't, like his running isn't even running. He just kind of walks in.
He works best in like those three-way matches that happen before the main card.
Or if he's not, or if he's in a tag team or something like that.
He needs to do limited things because he has the power stuff. His power moveset is fantastic. And he, for as awkwardly out of shape and big as he is, he can do really.
Don't get us wrong. He's still better than Almost.
Oh, yeah. He could do some agile stuff. Like, he has ring ability, but you could just tell he can't put 30-minute match together anymore.
No, his matches need to be under 10.
Yeah, his matches need to be under 5.
So we'll move on from that one. Jerry Lawler. Tom Lawler goes over. Jerry Lawler in the G1. That'll be
his
something. Son. No, his son's dead. Third match of the night. Fantastic. We had Juice Robinson against ELP. This is back-to-back matches for ELP because he fought on the last night too.
Which is we're starting to get into that now. But this was a really good match.
Juice came out like a bullet, and he had a new sense of purpose in this match.
And I really thought he was gonna win.
Juice did win.
I mean, but he won like he didn't
Yeah,
really win.
yeah,
The way he came out, I was like, oh, Phantasmal's gonna get spanked. But
yeah.
then Phantasmal made such an epic comeback, and
Those near falls towards the end by
yeah,
Phantasmo. I really thought
the
Phantasmo was gonna.
move, like the combo of moves he was linking together there at the end
Mhm.
was fantastic.
Like one after the other. He didn't stop. Like it
He went
was.
for an off the ropes move and he
Yeah,
screwed up, and then he just changed
did it
on the fly to
on
do
the fly.
another off
A
the rope
different one.
move.
Yeah,
And I was like, whoa, I was
yeah.
not
It
expecting
was.
that.
Yeah, when he tried to do the somersault
Yeah, he
off the
like
top.
lost his
Yeah,
balance, so he just turned around, jumped back up, and did another one.
another one.
Like,
Yeah,
oh crap!
it's like I don't care. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna
Yeah,
land it. But Juice goes over surprisingly. Juice like just like cursing up a storm. Like it is like Juice is like when Juice swears, it's hilarious.
this character for me is so over.
Yeah,
Like it's, and in case anyone doesn't know what that means it's good.
it's good. Yeah,
I am 100% sold on Juice. You do
yeah.
not ever have to convince me again. I freaking love this
And
guy.
the thing is for me too, I had to get back into the character of Juice only because I remember Juice Robinson
As
when he
that
was
hippie
CG
guy.
in NXT. Yeah. So for me, it's still like it's still not the you know what I mean? Like, but he's
He's
really won me over.
he has a perfect balance between
Yeah.
Phantasmo and Jay White.
Yeah.
And he's still like this he's goofy, but it's not intentional. He thinks he's a badass. He
Yeah.
doesn't realize that he's just like a bit of
He
a
looks silly.
goofball.
Yeah.
Where Phantasmo is a little bit he leans too far into the goofiness
Yeah.
sometimes, and it takes away from his ability in the ring because he's
Which
better
is
than Juice in the ring.
yeah.
Like
In
way
terms of
better.
technical ability, yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
man, just some of the
Absolutely.
stuff he does is so good.
But as an all-around character, Juice is
I think at some point down the road, we're going to have to redo the Canadian wrestlers thing because I
and add
really
Juice
think Phantasmo has a
and
shot at
Juice.
making the.
Yeah,
Juice
because
is
Juice is not
Canadian?
no, Juice is not Canadian.
No,
Never
I
mind.
don't think so. I
Yeah.
was going to say.
But yeah, Phantasmo probably has a shot at this.
Like if he stays healthy, he's still relatively young. He's like
Yeah.
34, I think, or
Yeah.
35
He's got a good 5-6 years.
of
Solid
prime
5.
left. And
Yeah.
in New Japan, he could last till he's 50 for all
Yeah.
we know. Those guys go
Absolutely.
for a bulk of their best wrestlers are in their
Yeah.
40s. So
This was our first DQ of the tournament, that's for sure.
yeah.
So Juice hit ELP outside with the chair. The ref let it go because outside of the ring, he kind of loosens the rules a little bit. But when Phantasmo hit Juice with the chair inside of the ring, the ref called the match, and that was the end of it.
And they
And that,
very clearly established at this point that
yeah,
if anyone uses a weapon in the ring, it's automatic disqualification.
yeah, absolutely.
I think because people probably were complaining to them, like, how come they're using weapons outside of the ring and no one's getting disqualified? So they
Yeah.
had to like make sure they mentioned it.
Yeah, because they can't use the crowd anymore, so they use the weapons as an excuse for entertainment for the or something like that.
Yeah, that's got to
Because
be something.
yeah. Fourth match of the night, Chase Owens versus Ishii, a match that means nothing except pride because at this point both men are eliminated.
Yeah, and honestly, my feelings on
Yeah,
both of these
on
guys.
Ishii,
It
yeah,
wasn't that bad.
yeah,
It was definitely a perfectly watchable match.
it was like it was a filler match because it meant nothing, but it was not a bad match. Not as bad as there was one point though where Ishii hit his head off the guardrail. I thought he was dead.
I know exactly what you're talking about because I was like, oh shit, he got hurt.
Yeah. But he just got up. Like this guy is like,
Oh, he's the Stone Pitbull, man. Come on.
yeah. Literally, his head's made of stone because that would have like knocked somebody out easily.
Yeah.
But like I said, it was it was a good performance by Chase too. It was not a bad showing. It's just unfortunately at this point, both of these matches mean nothing for each of these guys. So other than that, and next match of the night, Okada versus Jonah. This one surprised me. Really surprised me.
The result of it surprised me. The match was
It was all Jonah.
It was not a bad match,
Yeah.
but it was one of those matches where every time something good happened, something equally shit happened.
Yeah.
And it I had a hard time believing this match, and
One, because
especially
Okada's taller than him.
yeah, and Okada's taller than a lot of people in New Japan.
Yeah.
Actually,
He's what, 6'2", 6'3"? He's
no, I think
tall.
he's like 6'4".
Yeah.
But he's and I don't know. It just Okada's so protected,
Yeah.
and to the point of like John Moxley, which we'll get to in a video
Yeah.
later.
Another
But
video. Yep.
it's he's treated in a way where he's like unstoppable. He's like a Terminator
Yeah.
and Kenny Omega, but it's like to see him lose. By the way, he loses this match.
Yeah.
Um,
Jonah actually goes over.
it didn't feel realistic to me, but I get what they're doing when you hear Kevin Kelly talk about it. The Japanese fans, specifically the Japanese actual Japanese people that are fans,
Well, when
like
he
when a
won,
white when a white or non-Japanese person comes in and they're the kaiju, and when you look back, I never thought of this. Vader, Scott Norton, all these guys were
Brock,
Lesnar,
Angle.
They bring in these guys purposely to be huge, massive guys. So then when they do put on the epic pay-per-view match, the one, it's like this thing where he came back and he fought the monster and he won. And I realized that. I was like, this makes total sense. That's why guys like Vader got put over so hard in Japan, because in turn, him just being as massive as he was put over all the Japanese wrestlers.
Yep. That's exactly it. And that's exactly the point of what they're doing here. They're really building Jonah. Like, Jonah beat Okada. That means this guy could be unstoppable.
But then something happens later, which completely counteracts this entire equation.
Absolutely.
But
yeah,
I was shocked.
Yeah, Okada on those near falls though, like 2 3/4, he's kicking out of like that. Like, his timing on those things is fantastic.
He's a really good wrestler,
and he's selling really well for. He sold so well for Jonah.
I think the high points of this match were great, but there were some moments.
A few low points. It was not Okada's best match of the tournament.
It was not a well-balanced match.
No. But as I'm looking at this group too, like the matches that he has to go through, like he really has to carry a lot of these guys.
Yeah, and another thing too, well, I think this is more like we'll bring it up again later when we have the standings, but the outcome of this match impacted everything that was going to happen in this group, only for it to get completely thrown in the garbage in an upcoming episode.
And in the next match, yeah, almost. But this is the first time I've actually heard the crowd gasp.
Yeah, it was. People were definitely upset by this.
Yeah,
but then his little speech at the end was really good.
Yeah, unfortunately, most of the crowd probably couldn't. They probably had a translator there, but yeah, like, and to say like that was like his win over Okada, probably the biggest win of Jonah's career, comes exactly 1 year to the day of him being released by the WWE. Like what a difference 365 days can make.
Yeah, and he's progressively looking better. I'm not going to pretend like he isn't.
Like, I mean, he wasn't bad when he was in WWE either. He was North American champion. He had some really good matches against Johnny Gargano, but anybody can have a really good match against Johnny Gargano.
Who's supposed to be coming back.
Allegedly. Stay tuned in another video for that. Yeah, and that takes us to the end of night 13. Moving on to night 14, August the 9th. The first match of the night was Takahashi versus Yoshihashi, a D-block match.
Stop having good matches, Takahashi. You're not supposed to have good matches. I don't like it. I like Peter. I don't. And it's like, no, they're like doing this on purpose now, where every night that Takahashi wrestles, they also have Taichi wrestle. So it's like, you want to see
Peter
girls, it's all on the same night.
Yeah.
Only on the same night.
Yes, absolutely. This felt like a very like lucha, like a AAA lucha style match for me.
Yeah.
Like the way they were moving, the way they were using the ropes, the way they were like.
So apparently I found this out recently. I think it was in today's episode. But Takahashi, it was like a professional like collegiate style wrestler.
Okay.
So that's why he's so good with those like lift holds, where he just like the Miami, whatever it's called, the Miami
or the mat work.
Yeah, I never paid attention, but after I heard that, I went back and watched some things, and I realized he's really good at shoulder like drop moves, like quick little flicks and like rolling around on the mat with people.
Like judo takedowns. Yeah. And like I said, surprisingly, this was a surprisingly good match. Temporarily, this match by Takahashi going over put Takahashi at the top of the group.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, he'll lose it later on as we go forward on this tournament, but surprisingly, like, good match. Like, again, then next match we had was the second match of the night was Sonata versus Chase Owens. Sonata needed a win to stay alive in the tournament.
Can I be honest with you? I really didn't like this match.
No, I didn't either.
And with the two guys, Sonata is supposed to be really good. We know he's good.
Yeah.
And Chase Owens, in the right situation, we know he can work with people.
Like the Jay White episode, yeah.
And he knows how to wrestle, but this match was just like, how did we just watch Yoshihashi versus Takahashi
do a fantastic
match, and now we're gonna come watch Chase Owens versus Sonata, and it's not gonna be like that. I didn't even want to finish watching this match.
Yeah,
that's how.
And it was long too. It was like 17 minutes. It wasn't a short match either.
There was a lot of resting too.
Yeah, a lot of rest holds. I keep asking myself, does the Paradise Lock actually work?
I don't know, because I feel like you could get out of that.
I'm gonna put it on Fab one day just to see if it works.
All right, we'll tape. I'll film it. We'll see if it works.
I'm sure Fab will love that. Sorry,
It'll
Fab.
be just like old times.
On the Simpsons couch that we used to have in the basement.
Like, everybody come watch. I'm going to do this wrestling move on Fab. Okay, we all come to the room. We're just like, he's just getting bullied.
Good times.
Hey, at least you didn't do it to me.
No, but I think I've done it to Ant a couple of times, though.
Yeah, you're probably for sure.
Next match of the night, we had Taichi. Like you were saying, both these guys end up on the same show. Taichi and Tamatonga. It was a good match. It was not a bad match.
It was better than... Okay, it started off a little rough.
Yeah, it did. But I still don't understand the glove. The iron glove. Yeah. Like, does it have mystical powers or something?
It's supposed to. I don't like that storyline. That's the type of comedy wrestling I don't like.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as you go into mystical territory, it just doesn't work.
There's only a couple characters that can do mystical, and The Undertaker is one of them.
If you do it comedically, it works better than seriously. But for some reason, Undertaker, Kane, and Mankind just completely pulled that off. I have to give it to them.
And it's like he's trying to fight the powers. Like, no, I don't want to put it on. And it's like,
either way, it started off weird. But as we got the New Japan, just typical wrestling style where the match builds, it got pretty good. I was like, oh crap.
And towards the end, it got half decent. Like, it didn't end up being a bad match. Like, in the end, but it started off.
Commentary was Phantasmo on commentary for this.
No, it was that British Chris Charlton.
Oh, that was just him. I thought there was a Bullet Club person on it.
Yeah, I think it was Charlton because he was explaining the glove.
I like when he's there.
Yeah, he adds a lot of like facts to he has like some of those deep cuts. So he was explaining the history between Tonga and the glove and Taichi and all that. Like, but it was not a match I really cared for. So next we have the fourth match tonight. We had Jonah versus Archer.
This is where you freaking lost me. This match looked really amateur. This was like an independent match from a really low budget company.
Yeah.
And Archer looked like an absolute monster in this, which I get it. They're very protective of Lance Archer in
But
New Japan.
You just had Jonah go over Okada. Yeah. Now you have Archer go over Jonah by countout.
And the way that they did it was like surprisingly in a dominant way for Archer. Yeah, they didn't even like try to make Jonah look good in this. It's like the dude just beat Okada. He shook up that division to the point where now something could really happen, and then you followed it up by immediately having him get dominated in a DQ fucking loss to Lance Archer, who now has a better chance of winning the group than Jonah does.
Because if Archer beats Okada, he wins the group.
Yeah, they really like Lance Archer in Japan.
Yeah,
He's
they really
very,
do.
very popular.
But he's also been there a while too, so they
I understand that, but it's like at this point, what was the point of putting Jonah over if you're just going to protect Lance Archer?
because if Jonah went over, Okada doesn't have a chance of winning the group anymore.
I guess does
That's the only
Jonah has one more match, right?
Jonah has one more match, and I think it's against Lawler, or is it Yano? No.
Doesn't Archer face Okada?
Archer's last match, Archer and Okada's last match
Yeah, they're doing
is
that on purpose to have Okada beat him
yeah,
as the Kaiju. That's
yeah,
literally what that's going to be.
yeah.
And hopefully Okada can make it into a good match.
Yeah. Next, final match of the night, easily match of the night too, which was Naito versus Kenta.
Oh, what a friggin' match.
They gave it time too. It was almost 30 minutes.
It's one of the few times that we got under the 5 minutes remaining
Yeah.
point. Wow. And it's like we talk about Kenta and Sonata a lot.
Yeah.
And Kenta, just like this was reminding you what he's capable of, because we kind of missed it a little bit in this tournament.
Yeah.
He looked really beatable.
Yeah.
And this match was like, whoa, I was
This is the Kenta of old, the striking Kenta, the guy who can knock you down with his strikes.
I was convinced that they were going to break my dreams of my Naito win.
Yeah.
I thought this is it. It's over.
Yeah.
He's going to win. And
but
then,
I mean, there was a really, really like fun spot at the beginning of the match where he runs to the rings and then he does Naito does the tranquilo pose, and then Kenta tries to do the same thing and he just does like a little kawaii pose instead.
Oh yeah, I like that actually. That was funny.
Yeah, so because he couldn't do.
Well, he was at home. He was in Hiroshima. That's where he's from.
That's his hometown, which is surprising. Not surprising because we wanted Naito to win. Naito goes over in this match, and Naito, thus by winning, eliminates Kenta from the tournament now.
Yeah, and listen, when you see it happen, yeah, I feel like ELP was on. I was on the announcement.
I think this might have been the ELP one.
I think so, because I remember them showing all the children in the crowd with their Naito like signs, and he's like, "Oh, look at the kids." But Naito is like very popular, like ridiculously next level popular. Like I think him and Tanahashi are both more popular than Okada is.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But it's like you forget how it is, right? Like Kenta comes out, he's in his hometown, like legit. He even says, "This is my home," when he's coming out.
Yeah, but yet they're still cheering for Naito.
When Naito came out, the like volume level of the crowd was crazy.
This is the loudest I've heard the crowd in a long time too.
Yeah.
It was and this is like typical New Japan too. As the match goes on, it just keeps building and building and building and getting faster and getting like towards like the last 5 minutes of this match were so exciting. You didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You actually believed every near fall because this match could have gone either way.
For sure. When there was one point where right at the end there, Naito went to do a
Destino?
Destino. I was going to call it Despacito. He went to do a Destino, and Kenta like stopped it and then did his finishing move, and it was like, oh my god, the match is over. The match is over. And then, didn't they say even like no one has ever kicked out of this or something? Yeah. And then Naito kicked out, and I was like, holy crap!
The crowd. The crowd erupted. The crowd just like went crazy for this.
Yeah, what a match! This is arguably the top five of this tournament. Yeah, maybe top three.
I would say that for sure. Naito's nose was messed up though at the end of the match,
but that color looked good for the match.
Yeah, we needed color.
There was a few really hardcore spots.
Yeah, and that's like some matches like just sometimes color can add to the match, and this definitely added to the match
big time.
You could see at the end of the match like Kenta is just lying on the mat and he's just like, let me sleep. Like he was out.
I love the Naito wins when he's like, whenever he wins, he acts like he's not tired. And the
Yeah.
first thing he does is he goes and like tries to talk to the guy that he just beat and he gives him his ice pack.
Yeah.
Like they're way back in the tournament in the 3-on-3s.
Hmm.
Lij beat the Bullet Club in something,
Yeah.
and Naito spent the like 5 minutes. This is the longest run out at the end of a match I'd seen,
Yeah.
and he spent the whole time just following Jay White around, trying to put the ice pack on his
Are you
leg.
okay? Are you okay?
He's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Oh, it's so funny. It's so
Yeah.
funny because he's like his character is comedic in like I'm a huge piece of shit
Yeah. I'm an
type of
asshole,
way.
basically.
Yeah,
Yeah. But you love
uh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite, man.
Yeah.
Naito's the boss.
Naito. Yeah. I had the opportunity actually to meet Naito once too. It was really, really super cool guy.
Yeah. Does he
Um,
speak English?
He does, yeah, he does. He speaks English and he speaks Spanish very well too. So we're talking about Fab probably remembers this too. We're talking about a good 6-7 years ago. Ring of Honor did a War of the Worlds show here in Toronto, and they brought in the New Japan guys, and we're just sitting in the arena watching the match. Casually, Naito comes and sits down on the empty seat next to us, and just
No
starts like
way.
and he just starts watching the match, and it's like, like we just started chatting, and like, his English was very limited, but like we still were able to communicate with each other, and like we just had like a really cool conversation with like Naito about how his love of wrestling from when he started watching like Mexican wrestling and stuff like that, how he spent so much time in Mexico learning. It was off topic, here's a little story time for you
Yeah.
kids,
Hey,
but
why not?
Naito is a super, super cool guy. Tanahashi's a bit of a dick, but
Really, I
yeah,
feel like he's like the guy of New Japan. You
no,
know?
the Tanahashi, like he wouldn't even let you shake his hand unless you paid him.
Really, eh? But
Yeah,
he is that big.
he is. Yeah,
He really, truly is that big. He's like
yeah.
The Rock or like Bret
John
Hart.
Cena maybe,
Yeah.
but Nakamura, super cool dude. Kushida, really cool guy. Like it's like, but yeah, end of story
He
time.
basically lived my dream.
Yep,
Yeah,
basically
because I think when he went on an excursion, I believe he went to Mexico.
to Mexico. Yeah, he spent time, I think, in CMLL.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, um, night 15, August 10th. This is the last night we're covering on this episode. Started off with a really excellent opening match. David Finlay against ELP. ELP, where is this guy coming from?
This was a great match.
Yeah. It had good chain wrestling to start. It was like old school, like it felt like those old school WCW cruiserweight matches.
Where nobody takes any damage, they just
Yeah.
constantly keep move. Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
all
it
offense.
felt like something like even something like his father versus Dean Malenko or something like that,
Yeah.
or like something like Malenko versus Guerrero or Malenko versus Jericho. It felt like that type of a
Yeah,
match,
I can agree with that.
right? Because ELP has a lot of those Jericho tendencies, but Finley can be a lot like his dad, a brawler, but can still wrestle kind of thing. So
They're similar. They're pretty similar.
yeah, a little bit in better shape, David, but
Yeah, I mean, I meant ELP and
yeah,
David Finley.
yeah, they do have very similar styles. This was a night Archer was on commentary. And he adds so much to this match too, because he is, for a big monster, he is so well spoken and articulate when he speaks.
Yeah, and he has such a deep history in wrestling that like a lot of people might not even know about.
Yeah.
He has like stories forever.
Yeah. Like I could just hear him, I could just listen to him talking about stories. If Lance Archer ever starts a podcast and he starts telling wrestling stories, I'm sold.
Yeah, because he spent so much time in different places in the world in their wrestling
yeah.
company.
Yeah, like different organizations. He's
Yeah.
wrestled in Mexico. He's wrestled in Impact Wrestling. He's
Yeah, and
wrestled
he
in
didn't just
Japan.
do it for like one match, where like a
Mm,
lot of those WWE guys had like one match in this place. No, he
yeah,
spent like a year in
year,
Mexico, and then like 5 years in Japan, and then a
and
year in Australia, and
then
like
2 years at Impact Wrestling.
yeah,
Like
exactly. And it's like so he's very tenured.
yeah, and not just in New Japan, he was also in Noah. He was also
Yeah,
he was tag champ with Bulldog's son there, Davey Jr. there.
Yeah, he did a lot with Davey Jr. actually. I would like
At
to see
one
some of
point,
those matches.
at one point, there was talks about bringing Archer and David Jr. back to the WWE as a tag team because they were doing so well.
Really?
But instead, they brought back A-Train there. What's his name? Prince Albert, whatever his name.
Lord Tensai?
Lord Tensai, which he was a beast in New Japan, and they like completely neutered him when he got back.
He was so absolutely dominant in the short time that he went to Japan. Crazy. They loved him there. He
Giant Bernard.
He won a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Like he was super popular, and then it comes back and everybody starts calling him A-Train. Yeah, it was like, and here again, I wrote ELP, that lion salt. It's a work of art. He really has that down packed. And surprising win by ELP, keeping himself alive in this tournament.
They did this to keep the group close because the Juice win and then this win.
Yeah,
they had to like balance it out. They're going for something here.
Yeah, they're definitely going to do something with this group. I'm so interested. Like we got another week left, and I'm so interested to see what's going to happen with this. Even in Group A, like nobody's really eliminated yet. They're all within a couple points of each other. Because Cobb still has 2 matches left, and he's at 4 points, so he could still tie Okada. Like but we'll get into that at the end of the show. Next match. Not the best match. Great-O-Khan versus Tamatonga. You could really see Tonga's weaknesses in this match.
Yeah, because he's wrestling a guy who's full of weaknesses.
Yeah, and a guy who's eliminated, so he's not really fighting for anything either.
Yeah. I mean, surprisingly, though, O-Khan is really popular.
Yeah.
Like, he sells a lot of product.
Who? Okada? Tonga or Great-O-Khan?
Great-O-Khan.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Okada.
If you go to their website, the token shop,
yeah,
he is everything O-Khan is always sold out.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of. I think it's more the character than the actual.
Yeah, but it's everything there is very character driven without storyline. That's the weirdest part of it.
He just saves children from burning buildings and stuff, or helping old ladies cross the road.
He's a legend on the streets.
Yeah, on the streets. The only good part of the match I saw was that transition when he had he set up for the eliminator and he transitions it to the gun stun and gets the win. Tamatonga goes over. He kind of needed to go over in this to stay alive. He's actually tied with Jay White at the moment. As of the only difference is Jay White doesn't have a loss.
I don't know what they're going for in that group.
He has to fight Jay White still too, doesn't he?
I think
that's on the last match. They
did it on purpose because he just left the Bullet Club and they're trying to like make a heat situation.
Yeah.
Like, and when you look at it, like we had this talk already, but Tamatonga and Foley are like probably the heart and soul of the Bullet Club. They were the only people from the very beginning that are still there now. Well, Tonga's not anymore, but
I mean, he's the Foley's the only OG member left in the group. But good match. Not a good match, I should say, but it was the right finish. Jay White's gonna go probably 5-0, and then his last match will be against Tonga, where he'll probably be 5-1, and it's gonna be a winner take all type of situation.
I agree.
Yeah. Next match of the night, hilarious match, lasted only about 45 seconds. Which was Evil versus Zack Saber Jr.
And so granted, I had a lot of fun here.
Yes.
But as we've mentioned multiple times, for those main 4, we'll say Goto, so 4 guys.
He's the jobber to the stars.
Evil was the guy who was the only other person in the 7-man group that wasn't in the main 4 that had to be that guy to get the wins over certain people to shake up the standings to give us what we thought was going to happen. He's not getting any of those wins.
Yeah. I think the only win he has was against, was it Naito, wasn't it? No, he beat
Yeah, wasn't it Naito?
I think so. Yeah.
And he fucked up that whole thing for me.
Yeah.
But now it's like you're like I was like, okay, he's gonna cheat and he's gonna win now finally, and because he didn't
Yeah.
do it to Tanahashi, this is
Nope.
gonna be the point where he's gonna do it and he's gonna
This
get
is
the
where
win.
that's where he should have won. He should have beaten Tanahashi.
Yes, and then now that he didn't beat Tanahashi and he didn't beat Saber Jr., I'm so confused at what the hell they're trying to do now.
Yeah. At least it's booking that'll keep you guessing. It's not gonna.
I guess it's
But
probably the smartest tournament booking we've ever seen.
yeah.
If it plays out the way that we think it's going to play out.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. I like the little like when he comes out of the curtain, he's like, "Hello."
There was when he pulled them back into it, and then the whole thing, like there was all that confusion. Like it was really smartly done.
It was
fun,
but
I just don't like it.
Agreed. Next, not his strongest match again of the tournament. Okada versus Lawler. Okada needed to get this win. Okada had to win this match. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And he pretty much dominated.
He did really, really, really put Lawler over.
He did. He let Lawler get a lot of offense in.
And Lawler showing all of his submission holds, and showing that making Okada take damage made him look good, especially at the end when they had that sign of respect where Okada like called him and was like,
yeah,
good, that was good. You're really good.
Yeah.
Because you could see Lawler was so upset. Like the acting here was good. And then as soon as Okada did that, he was happy after that when he was leaving. He's like, at least I didn't go down in shame. Like I impressed him, you know? And it made the fans respect it.
Yeah, it was a half decent match.
I hate that I kind of like Lawler now.
Yeah. Doesn't compare to the next match we're going in. The final match of night 15. This is the final match we're reviewing tonight. Hiroki Goto versus Hiroshi Tanahashi. Holy shit. This was another good match.
This was like a next level good match.
Yeah, this is on the same level as Naito versus Kenta.
Yeah, this was just really good.
Go out and watch this match, kids.
Like if you just took all the best matches, if you took the 5 best matches so far from this tournament and just put it as a pay-per-view, I would have, if I paid to watch it, I would have been so happy.
I mean, that little meme, Fry, shut up and take my money.
Yeah, 100%. Because there is when they put on a good match, they put on a good match.
Like I would say so far it's been Juice versus Finley has been there. It's got to be one of those top matches.
Finley versus Ospreay.
Yeah, that's another one.
Tanahashi versus Naito was really good.
Yeah. Now you had, and then Naito versus Kenta, and now crazy. Tanahashi versus Goto. Like when the matches are good, they're really good. Like they're really, really good. It was it had this classic old school, like early 2000s New Japan feel to it for me when I first started getting into New Japan. Good use of the ring ropes by Tanahashi. Like the way he was like pulling the submissions around the ropes and like not exactly heel tactics, but kind of working heelish.
There was some really good stuff there. Yeah, I agree with that. There was like this because they can't make Goto the heel.
No. And like they were also building up the fact that like in the 17 meetings they've had, Goto's only won 2 of their matches. Like Goto's only beaten Tanahashi twice.
What was his record? 14-2-1 or something like that?
Yeah, against Goto. Yeah, so Tanahashi and Goto actually goes over in this match.
And like boy, was it a good match.
Yeah, it was like some of those near falls, Goto just fighting through like when he's spitting out blood from his mouth and he's just like going, he's like, no, he's like, you can't put me down kind of thing. I'm going to win this. And it's like, like there's no story, but the storytelling in the ring did it all. You know what I mean?
100%.
So it was another fantastic match. Probably maybe at the end of this, we'll probably put together a list of our top 5 matches in this tournament.
Well, you know which other one was good? The other one we reviewed earlier in this episode with Shingo.
Yes, the Shingo Takagi match against. Let me go back and check against Will Ospreay.
Yeah, that was in the top 2.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
Shingo has another great match on today's one.
Yeah, I haven't
weirdly
watched
against
all of today's.
Takahashi.
Again, like Takahashi, what are you doing, buddy?
I don't know.
But
Ever since Peter came back, he's been an absolute
he's
monster.
been an absolute monster. So yeah, Goto goes over. So he gets that win over Tanahashi, which is very surprising. So
yes, yeah, it was such a good match.
Yeah. So we are going to go from here. We are going to go check our standings and see where we're at this point. So as you can see here,
look at the quality of this, people. Subscribe to this channel.
I put a lot of effort into this.
Okay, there's no way we're not gonna get the ties for this.
Oh yeah, like look at Group D. Like these are updated as of today's Saturday of the recording. So these are updated as of Friday night. Friday night was the last update. Saturdays are on a different spreadsheet.
This lends itself perfectly because Tanahashi and Goto both face separate people. They're going to get the win. Saber Jr. has to face Naito, and if Naito beats him, you have a chance of everyone being 4-2.
Yep. Yeah, because Goto beat Tanahashi.
And then in Group D, look at Group D. Everybody has a shot at winning still.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see this group ending at 3-3, everybody.
And have like a battle royale for whoever wins. Because Group B, Jay White is going to win.
Yeah. It all depends. Like, I could see, like, I mean, if they really want to throw a wrench in this, they can have Tonga beat White at the end.
Well, if they really want to throw a wrench in this, they can just send Show out there because he's always got a wrench. So
yeah. That's exactly it. This one still surprisingly everybody's
but Okada's gonna win.
Yeah, like clearly.
I really do think Jay White is gonna win.
Yeah,
but he is going to lose the first match in the playoff
against Okada.
Yeah, they're gonna make sure that Okada beats him.
Okay,
because like you said, they're not gonna let the champion go into and win the G1 and then face himself.
Yeah,
at Wrestle Kingdom.
Very true. Very true. To be honest, Group D, I don't see Finley, Juice, or Ospreay winning this. They're all going to cost each other, and that's going to lead to the match at Wrestle Kingdom where they're going to do a 3-way match for the U.S. Championship.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know what? I'm going to say this. I think
Takagi's winning this group.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. All three of those guys are going to get eliminated purposely to set up the Wrestle Kingdom match where they face each other for the U.S. title. And Takagi's going to win because he's been amazing. And they're going to
it'll be like a come out of nowhere type of win.
Exactly. They're going to go for 3 legends here and Jay White. So it's going to be Okada, one of the 4 people in this group. It's not going to be Zack Saber. It's going to be Tanahashi, Naito or Goto. Yep. Okada, Jay White, and Shingo. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. I think I wouldn't have said it at the beginning of the tournament, but now with the way I see the booking is going, I can see Shingo Takagi taking the win on this.
Yeah, I could see Goto sneaking out of Group C. Yeah. Goto versus Takagi. Imagine that friggin' match. That would be so good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, I'm salivating just thinking about it. So yeah. That's it, guys. That's our coverage for the G1 this week. Make sure you tune in on tomorrow, on Tuesday, where we will me and Campbell will just have like a little discussion on the state of wrestling, where it's at, where it's going, what good things are coming through the pipeline, how Trips is handling WWE and all that kind of stuff. So tune in tomorrow on our regular Coffee and Cannoli podcast episode for that. And then tune in next week where on Monday and Tuesday, we will have the conclusion of the block matches on next Monday's episode. And on next Tuesday's episode, we will have the coverage of the final match of the G1 championship and who wins it all. So with that, guys, thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you all next time.